Morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm Marg from Creative Stamping with Marg. Another Wednesday video for you today. We're going to do kind of a fun fold card, but it's a real easy one that I've seen several demonstrators do, and I haven't ever made one, so thought I'd try it today. And I'll update you on the Stampin' Up! News. Okay, let's go down to my desk. Okay, see all the things there. All right, you can see I still have the paper pumpkin flyer on my desk. This is, you have to subscribe before April 10th, which would be tomorrow, for this beautiful box. It's called Inked Occasions. 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs. The ink spot this time is going to be Berry Burst. So that's that nice pinky color. There's textured gold foil and pre-cut paper pieces with butterfly embellishments. So should be, and it comes in this beautiful box. So that's the next one. And these are the coordinating dies for April, May, and June. And the number for them is 166238, and they are $16.50. You have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber in order to order these. I don't know that I've ever mentioned that before. You can't order them unless you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. All right, I will put that to the side. So we'll have a new one the next time I come on to show you. All right, today our card that we're making, I've seen people call it different things, but it is, I'm going to call it a triple panel fun fold card. So we are going to be using the Delightful Wishes bundle. So that's the stamps and the dies. If you haven't seen this one, it's very beautiful. I've used it a lot. And we also are going to be using both the floral and gingham vellum that comes with it. And it looks like this. There's 6 sheets, 3 different patterns. So there's the one with the yellow flowers, the one with the blue background, and then we're going to be using this plaid. And the colors in that one are Pool Party, Old Olive, Lemon Lolly, and Daffodil Delight. And the paper is called Floral Delight, and I have used it before, so you've probably seen me, but today I'm going to use this one. It has the Pool Party background on it, so that's what I wanted to focus on today instead of the yellows. So gorgeous, very bright paper. Really makes you think of spring when you see all these nice colors. Okay, so that's what we're going to use today. Put that to the side. All right, I will just move this out of the way and tell you what we're going to use for our base. Our base is Pool Party, and it is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored in different ways. So you've got your 8.5 edge at the top. You're going to score it at 2 and 3/8. Sorry. Start again. 2, 3 1/8. 5 3/8, and 6.5. Now remember, all these measurements and everything will be underneath the video, so you can check it out. Sorry, I didn't mean to make a mistake there. All right, so that's what your base looks like. So it's not a traditional base. You're also going to need a piece of basic white, and it is 2 1/8 by 5 3/8, and it's going to be where we're doing our writing. And this card, the writing will be on the back, so that's that one. You need 2 pieces of DSP that are 1 7/8, so they're a little bit narrower than this one. 1 7/8 by 5 3/8, and they're going to go on our side panels like this. And I am using a piece of the vellum, the plaid vellum, and it is 2 1/8 by 5 3/8, so it's the same size as your white piece, and it's going to go in the center there. And you can see what a difference it makes to lay it on the Pool Party. If you laid it on white, it really pops. So that's an option too. If you wanted to lay it on white to make it pop out more, you could, but I've chosen just to put it on there like that. All right, and then I'm using the Stylish Shapes dies, and I decided instead of using circles, I always use circles, and you'll see that on my other one, my sample card, I'm going to use this size of square, the biggest one, and then the next size. Okay, and so what I did was I cut lemon lolly out of the biggest one, and I'm going to lay them like a diamond on here. And then the second size is pool party. Now, I did cut this larger square out of Daffodil Delight, but I decided to choose the lighter color. I think it really made these side panels kind of pop out more. So that was my reasoning there. But you could use Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lolly, Peach Pie also worked. So there's those ones. All right, so there's that. And I used out of the Delightful Wishes dies. You get 2 sheets of dies here. And I've used the word wishing. Sorry, I still have it here. The word wishing. And I cut it out of Peach Pie. This is the smaller, the really fine words. It's out of Peach Pie and it's got the adhesive back on it. Okay, and we're going to use that word. I've left it in the die so that it stays nicely till I'm ready to use it. I've also used some of the flower dies. You'll see them here. I cut the big flower out of Daffodil, the die that overlays on the top out of Peach Pie, and then there's a tiny center that I cut out of Pecan Pie. So I think I'm going to use that on the front. And then I cut some of the littler flowers. They're here with their centers. And I cut one out of Lemon Lolly and one out of Daffodil with the Peach Pie center. And there is a stamp that stamps those little brown dots on it. So I've got all those already done. And I've also cut out the leaves. I hadn't used these leaves yet, these leaf dies. So the little ones look like that, and the big ones look like this when they're put together. So they're kind of fun. So I've got all those already cut, ready to go. So we can just assemble our card now, I think. Move this out of the way. And I think what I'll do, and as always, I've already stamped on my inside. My inside says, "You a happy birthday," because the front is going to say wishing, and then this will be on the inside. Okay, so let's lay that die up there. I'm going to put my silicone mat here because I will be using Tombow liquid glue. I'm also going to, I think, use some of the Daffodil Delight 1/8 inch ribbon that is on the last chance list. And I've pulled out the glossy dot assortment, which for some bling at the end, it's also on the last chance. So nice colors in this, gorgeous grape, melon mambo, Daffodil Delight, and pool party. So we'll decide if we're going to use them or not. All right, so let's get putting this together. First, I need to do some folding of my main piece. I think it's easier if I fold it so that you can see what it's like. The part that's going to pop up is your center part. So what I like to do is find my center piece, which is this panel right here, and fold these pieces back. So that's going to be my center panel. And then these pieces are going to be like wings that go back the other way. So they go this way. So we'll fold these ones to the front like that. And then this one to the back. I'm just making sure that it's nice and straight. Okay, so it's going to be like that. The same with this one. This one goes back. And this one goes forward. Okay, like that. So the card is going to be, when it's folded, it's going to look like that. And yes, it will fit in an envelope. This is the standard size. And when you open it, it pops up like this. It stands like this. It just is a different fold. So we'll go ahead and get our gluing done. What I can do first, I will show you, we'll put our side pieces on, I guess. And I just cut two random pieces, and there was no real direction on these ones, so I didn't worry too much about that, but they are going on my front. So turn them over, and I'll get my glue. glue going here. Okay, like this. And these are just cut, so you're getting just that 1/8 of an inch border around it, which I really like. It just gives just that little bit of color around them. If you don't like the 1/8 when you're cutting, like these pieces are 2 1/8 by, no, 1 7/8 by 5 3/8. If you don't like the 8s, you don't have to cut them like that. But I just really wanted just that little border around this. Okay, so you can see just a little bit of the blue along the edges here, which I really like. Okay, the center panel is vellum. Now, lots of people struggle with how to put vellum on so that the glue doesn't show. I've tried different things. Glue dots work, but my favorite thing to do is use a dauber or a sponge and my liquid glue and just sponge it on, and it for sure doesn't show. This vellum, to me, doesn't have a right or wrong side. I'm just going to put it under the, doesn't have a right or wrong side, so I didn't worry too much about it. I'm looking at how I cut it. I think this is the back of mine. So what I do with it, put this in camera here, is I put a big splotch of glue on my silicone mat, take my dauber, and this is a dauber that is sticky. I use it only for glue, and I just swirl it around in there like that. And then I just daub it on. And again, this doesn't have to be all over because you're going to have things stuck on top of it, of course. I kind of like my corners kind of to be down so that it doesn't lift. But that's it. Now when you turn it over, I can sort of see that through here. So I'm going to swirl it a bit better. I'm going to swirl it in a bit better so that the glue isn't really showing through. But this shouldn't be a problem. I don't have trouble with this usually showing. Okay, and then we'll just put it, move this out of the way because it's very sticky now. And I'm just going to place this on here like this. And again, it just has the 1/8 of an inch showing around it. So there you go. And I'm not seeing any of the glue through there. So that's the way I like, that's my preferred method. Okay, so that's that. Now, the white piece that we're going to write on, you're going to say, where is your message going? It's actually going on the back of this card. So you're going to open it like this, and this is going to go in the back here. So I can put that on because I've stamped it already. I do recommend you stamp first before you glue these things in, just in case you make a mistake or you want, you can always flip it over if you've made an error. Okay, so there's that. That's our back. Okay, now I have also seen people decorate these panels, but I don't think it's necessary because your card, when it's closed, it looks like this, and when it's open, it stands like this, and you really don't be standing like that. You don't see those sides, but if you want to decorate them, you could. So let's do the front. I just have to be mindful of that puddle of glue I've got there. This is how I wanted to put this together, and my thought was, I haven't done this yet, but my thought was to put it like a diamond, like that, and put the word wishing on top. So I'm going to glue these two together. So again, you could use white here if you liked, but I thought instead of using white, I would use the pool party and just see if I like that. Let's hope I do. Okay, so there's those two glued together. And our word wishing, I want it to go across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put this so I can see it. I'm lining it up on my grid paper because I can see my grid paper through my silicone mat. And I want the word wishing to go across. And I think it has to go across corner to corner that way. Now the trick with this die is the dots on the eyes stay in the die. There they are right there and there. So that's the tricky part. You don't want to lose those. So that's why I left it in the die. Now I'm going to pop the word out, hopefully leaving those dots in there. And I didn't use, there is another die that uses a wider background, but I just thought this word wishing just on its own like that looked very pretty. So I'm hoping I'm going to like it. So we're going to take the backing off, and it's very delicate, so you have to be very careful with this when you peel the backing off, because you don't want to rip your word. And I have to kind of start at a wider piece here. Okay, I'm hoping, there we go. And I just am holding it with my take your pick tool, so I'm not just ripping it off, so that I don't want any of this to rip apart. So you just have to be very patient when you're taking this off. But this to me is the only way to glue this word down, because it is such a delicate die cut. Now it will stretch out of shape a little bit, so I think that I want it to be, I'm hoping, sorry, it stuck to my finger here. I'm hoping that I can get it. Sorry, it is very tricky to lay this down, but the good thing about it is it's not super sticky, so I think that looks good. Wishing. All right, now I've got the dots. What I've seen people do is they put a little bit of glue, just a dot of glue, where they want that dot to go. So this is the one eye, right there. Oops, and I just stuck my hand in that puddle of glue. This is the other eye, like that. And then from this die, they just poke out their dots and they glue them right down to that. So let's see if I can do that. There's one, and yes, it does have paper on the back. There's that one. Now I just want it to be in the glue, so I'm just going to press it down a little bit, okay? And the other one is here. A little bit of delicate work here. And the other thought I've seen people do is they just took their, if they had the marker, Stampin' Write marker, the right color, you can just put the dot on with a marker. Sorry, I'm having trouble with this one staying in place. Oh, the paper backing came off. That's what happened there. Okay, that's fine. It's got glue on it. That's good. All right, so there's our word, wishing. That was kind of fussy, wasn't it? But that's okay. I like the look of that. And let's see. What I like to do is close my card up and put it straight on my grid paper so I can see it. And then I want this to go down. And you see how it's just perfect from side to side. It's not overlapping the card. So, and we want it, because we've got this paper that is plaid, I think I can tip it, try to make sure that it's correct. Think about there. So I'm going to put it on like that, and then I think we'll decorate it with our flowers. So I'm going to put it up on dimensional. So I know I can put a dimensional at the top and the bottom. You can't put it out on the sides, but I could put my dimensionals on there. And we can use regular size ones for this. So just be careful when you're doing this that you aren't moving your word around. Make sure that it's dry. So top bottom with our dimensionals like that. And then I know that I can put them on the sides. So I am just looking at how I want it to lay down. Okay, so I will take, sorry, I want to put these other two dimensionals on my front here. So I think I could put them there and there. That's the middle. So, okay, take the papers off, those ones. Take the papers off my other pieces here. Okay, and then I'm going to lay this back down, line it up again so I can see what I'm doing. And just put it down. Just want to see if it's straight. I don't think it is. Nope. So lifting it up again. Okay. That one looks better. What I'm looking at is these points are on this dark line of my grid paper. So hopefully that looks better. Okay, there's the word wishing. And I've got the flower here. And I've got these two big leaves, which I thought looked good with it. So I didn't know how I wanted to put this. And then I do have some ribbons. So I thought if I put my flower on here like that, and I've just tied a simple little bow, I could just put a bow at the top, or I could put a bow here. I could put a bow under the flower. I think maybe that's too much there. Maybe we don't need the bow. Okay, well, I'll just not do the bow for now. The other idea was the flower could be at the top with these like this, and the bow at the bottom. Kind of like the little yellow bow here. I think it's pretty. Because it seems like I need to fill up this space somehow. So I think maybe I will put the flower at the top. And because this diamond piece is on dimensionals, I'm not going to put my flower up on dimensionals or my leaves. So I think I will just stick my two leaves together a little bit. So I'm going to just put some little bit on the bottom here and put the two of them together so that they are overlapping like that. Okay. And do I want them just like that, I think, on the back of my flower? And I think it'll work out all right. And I'm thinking I'll put the leaves here, just like that. And I'm just holding it so that it glues on the back there. And then I will put this down. So a little bit of glue all over here, and hopefully that'll stick it down. And I think I'm just going to offset it a little bit with the word wishing. And I know I put a little glue. I just don't want it to press onto my, I want it to glue onto the diamond, but not onto the gingham there. So I'm just trying to get, I should have probably put my flower down, built all that first before I put my diamond on, but that looks okay. And then for the bow, I don't know if I just add the bow there on the bottom. I don't know if I like it. I don't like it like that. It looks too, I think if I put it there or maybe here. Okay, I need a glue dot. Put that bow down, and I trim my end off a little bit. Okay, and I just put the bow right onto the glue dot. That helps it pick it up. Right behind the knot there. There we go. And I think I will put it. I'm just going to close my card again. Struggling today with my fingers. Okay. And I think I will just put it like that. And get my ribbon scissors here and trim that off, because you can see I just tied it and left it on the spool so that I knew how long I wanted it. Like that. All right, so there's the front of our card. And we can put some bling on there. We'll do that. I had, like I said, pulled these out. They have the pool party and they have the yellow. So just didn't know if I wanted to add the yellow or the pool party. That's a big decision. And they come in three sizes. So let's use them all. Okay. How about I'll put one of the large blue ones right there, and the medium. I will put it, we could even put them over here, couldn't we? Yes. It's always the big decision where to put the dots. Okay, and then maybe one right there. All right, so there we go. So there's the front all decorated. I think that looks good. So it says wishing, and then your recipient would turn it over. You, a happy birthday. And these little flowers that I cut out, I thought I would put on here, and I didn't know if I wanted the green leaves in here or not. And that would still give you room to write. And, you know, I like to write the person's name at the top, maybe. I don't know if I want both of the green leaves or whether I would just stick with just the one. Don't want to make it too fat back here. I think maybe just one. Okay, so I'm just going to put one leaf down. So I'm just gluing the back of the leaf, and I'm going to put it in here, maybe like that. I don't think there's a right or a wrong for this, and just put my two flowers in here. Okay, so again, just gluing them flat down. They're just going to overlap the leaf just a little bit, so it won't be too fat, I hope. All right, so what do you think of this triple panel fun fold? Okay, let's get everything out of the way here so you can see it. Okay, so here it is, folded up. So it's going to stand like that. That's what it's going to look like when it's standing up. Your view from the top, and then your recipient would turn it over, and there's the back. I really like it. I think it's really a different fold and has something very unique. I think all kinds of papers would work good for this. And I will show you my sample card that I made from, it actually came from the Daisy Daydream paper pumpkin kit. I cut the paper up for this one. So here's this one. And I used the Spotlight on Nature circle for this. And this is a retired stamp set. This is that new gold mesh ribbon that we have. And it opens like this. And this one is done on very vanilla. You can see the card base is very vanilla. And I just cut my Daisy Daydream card up and use the paper there. So that's what that one looks like. And then turn it over, and there it is. So two different cards, same layout. What do you think? This one I used gold dots on. I think that one looks good too. So All right, I hope everybody enjoyed that. I also want to mention that I still have some card kits left for the Fun Fold card kit that I was featuring the retiring in colors that will be gone when our new catalog comes out. We'll get 5 new in colors. So this is the card kit. Those are your 4 cards. You will receive a PDF, and I've done a YouTube video on putting this one together and this one, so you can refer to both of those if you needed to. The 4 cards are $15. They come with envelopes, and you would get all the pieces cut and any embossing done that needed doing. You get your ribbon, all your gems, and everything's cut and scored for you. So it's $15. Porch pickup, if it was to be mailed anywhere in Canada, I can only mail in Canada, it's $5. So that's, like I said, featuring our outgoing in colors, which are Moody Mauve. So all of this is on the last chance list. I'm not sure how much is still left of the ink pads, ink refills, markers, Stamp and Write blends, cardstock. There was twine that went with it. So there's a lot of things. It's all on the last chance list if you go to the online store. All right. So hope everybody enjoyed that. Have a great week, and I hope to see you next week. Bye now.